Evening all, Rich here, back for part 2 of this Hikawa Maru tutorial. Today's focus is the ship's main hull, which is the black section on the prototype over there. So we're going to focus on that, and also the forecastle deck, which is the raised deck on the bow, and the main deck, maybe the beginnings of the superstructure, I don't know. But the main focus, of course, is just the black hull, so we're going to focus on that for the moment. As before, like I did with the previous video, we're going to add, well, I've added signs to each section of the ship's hull, so going from 0 all the way out to 17 on the sides and also on the back as well. So that's what you want to do. It's personal preference, it's up to you if you want to do that. So we're going to start with the section 0, and as before, I'm going to work on one side and then copy it over afterwards just to save a lot of time. So there we go. Anyway, so we're going to start at section 0, and what we're going to do in black, we're going to build up 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 3 rows of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So that's the height of the front of the ship. Now the black hull of the ship does curve up slightly and also drops down quite considerably further back because of the height of the forecastle. The forecastle deck is raised, and the hull will drop back quite a bit further on. So the main body of the hull, from the stern to the beginning of the forecastle, is the 11 high. That's the black, but everything forward of that is random. So I don't know what section it does. I don't know what section it is when it drops down, but we'll worry about that later on. Anyway, we'll move on to section 1 now. So for section 1, we're going to move. We're going to build forward 2. So 1, 2 like that, and then up 2, 1, 2, and then actually it's up 3. So do that again. So forward 2 and then up 3, 1, 2, 3 like that, and then up 5 rows of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just double check to make sure that's 5 rows. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's fine. So it's 5 rows of 4 up like that. Now we move on to number 2, and apologies for my waffling, I just wanted to explain things as we go along. Anyway, for section 2 we want up 2, so up 1, 2, and then up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 rows of 3, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, and there we go. So that was section 2. We've got a bit of a curve going on there. Now move on to number 3, and for number 3 we want forward 2, 1, 2, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 5 rows of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 2, 1, 2, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3 like that. And that has dropped down quite a bit in height. I think that's fine actually. It's dropped down by 2 blocks because this is the bow sprit raise, basically, sort of like the figurehead. So if there's a drop in 2 blocks in height, that's how it should be. Anyway, now we move on to section 4. Yeah, I'll explain later on. So for section 4 we want to go up 2, up 1, 2 like that, and then up 5 rows of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 3 rows of 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3 like that. There we go. So that's that one done there. So yeah, once you get all the sections are built, and when you start filling in the sections, the gaps between each section in the height can be adjusted, well not adjusted, but corrected and made to look a bit better. So yeah, then we move on to section 5. So section 5 we want forward 2, 1, 2, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 3 rows of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like that. And then we want up 5 rows of 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3 like that. That's the same height as the previous 2, that's fine. And now we move on to section 6. And for section 6 we want up 2, 1, 2, and then up 3 rows of 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 7 rows of 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3 like that. There we go, so that's fine. Looks a bit odd at the moment, but that's not a big deal. And now we move on to section 7. And for section 7 we want to go up 2, 1, 2, and then up 2 rows of 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 8 rows of 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 2, 1, 2, like that. There we are. So that was section 7. Sorry. So now we move on to section 8, and let me just adjust my notes on this one. So for section 8, we want forward 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 11 rows of 2. So we want 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And there we are, 11 rows of 2, and that has just dropped down in height by 1 block, so that's fine. So that was that section there. It's hard to see because of the ship in the background, but there you go, so it gives you a better idea. So that was section 8. Now we move on to number 9. For number 9 we want to go up 2, 1, 2, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and then up 6 rows of 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's 6 rows of 2 like that. And then forward 2, 1, 2, and then forward 3 rows of 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then on top 1 like that. And then we go to that's that section there. That was number 9. So now move on to number 10. For number 10 we want forward 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 6 rows of 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then forward 2, 1, 2, forward 3, 1, 2, 3, and then forward 2 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, like that. And that's the same height as the previous one, that's fine. And now move on to number 11. So we're getting on with this, not too bad. So for number 11 we want forward 2 rows of 2, so 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 4 rows of 2, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then forward 2, 1, 2, and then forward 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, like that. And there you go, that's fine. So it's a bit confusing on how it looks, but I'll show you it doesn't look too bad. So just look at it from certain angles, you sort of get an idea on how it looks, but it's hard to tell. Anyway, now we move on to number, what are we on now? Number 12, I think. Yep, number 12. So number 12 we want forward 2 rows of 2, so forward 1, 2, 1, 2, like that, and then up 2, 1, 2, up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 3 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then forward 2, 1, 2, and then forward 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, like that. And that drops down in height by 1 block, and that's fine because the hull, the deck does slope down at this point, so that's fine. So that was number 12, and now we move on to number 13. And for number 13 we want forward 2 rows of 2, so 1, 2, 1, 2, like that, and then up, we go up 7 rows of 2, so we go up 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. So that's 7 rows of 2 like that, and then forward 2, 1, 2, forward 3, 1, 2, 3, and then forward 2, 1, 2, 2 again, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2. And there we go, that's that section there. And now we're on to number 14. And for number 14 we want forward 8 rows of 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's 8 rows of 2 like that. And then we want forward 2 rows of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then 3 rows of 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then up 2. 1, 2 like that. And there we go, that's fine. And now we move on to section 15. And let me just adjust my notes a second. Right, so for section 15 we want forward 6 rows of 2. So forward 6 rows of 2. So 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 like that. And then we want forward 3 rows of 3. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 1 2 3 like that. And then forward 2 rows of 2. So 1 2 1 2 like that. And that is a drop in height which is quite considerable. But that is how the end of the forecastle is. So it may not look right at the moment, but when we come to actually add the forecastle, the area will be tidied up a little bit. So it's that sort of that section there where the crosshairs are is what we've just built. So this is what this section is there. So now we move on to section 16. And for section 16 we want forward 10 rows of 2. So 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 and then 1 2 and 1 2. So that's 10 rows of 2 like that. And then on top of that add 1 like that. There we go. That's the same height as the previous one. That's fine. And then we move on to 17, which is the last one. And for number 17 we want forward 8 rows of 2. So forward 8 rows of 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. That's 8 rows of 2. And then up 2 1 2 and then up 2 again 1 2. And there we go. That's the same height again. So there we are. That's that one done. So that's the all 17 sections of the bow done, and it should sort of look something like that, because we've got the bloody ceramic in the way, which doesn't really help. We can't see it very well, but that's how it should look. And if you look at it front on, you've got a bit of a bow curve going on there, and it don't look too bad. So if you're doing both sides at the same time, like I explained in the previous video, it should look a lot better as well. But hey ho, there we go. So what you want to do now is just go like we did on the previous part, just go on the inside and start filling in the gaps between each section, and then everything should all be okay in theory. So I should do the first few rows, and then I'll do a jump cut and sort out the rest, and I'll also do the other side as well. So hopefully everything will work out fine. Do one more row, why not? And there we go. So that's the first few done. You can see the hull is taking shape. It's minus the white lines. You can see on the prototype we've got a white line, but we'll add that another day. So it should, in theory, look something like that. So I'm going to do a jump cut now while I sort out the rest, and I'll also sort out the other side, and then we can move on. So back in a moment. Okay, back again. So I filled in all the gaps of the hull, and it should look something like that. That's the front end at least, and don't look too bad. Now I've also done the other side as well. So that's that side done. It should look something like that. And if you look at it front on, you will have a sort of vague curve going on, sort of bow shape, depending which way you look at it. So that's that there. And on the inside, it should look something like that. So there's nothing really special. But that's the front end done. So what I'm going to do now is move to the back end and start the process all over again. So I'm going to go right the way back into 0 on the middle, and I've already added the signs, so it shouldn't be too bad. So what we're going to do now is go down to section 0, and I'm going to work on the left hand side again and then copy across later on. But if you can, or if you want to, do both sides at the same time, it's up to you. So section 0 is on the vertical point, not the rudder, but the point where the rudder attaches. So just above the hinge is where section 0 begins. And for section 0 we want to go up 3, so 1 2 3, and then up 2 1 2, and then forward or back 4 1 2 3 4, 4 again 1 2 3 4, and then 3 1 2 3, and then 2 rows of 2 1 2 1 2, and then up 3 1 2 3 like that. And that's section 0 done. I'm just going to make sure that is 11 high in total, so that's 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11, so that's fine. So it's 11 high, that's what we want. So that's section 0. Now we move on to number 1, and for section 1 we want to go up 3 rows of 2, so we go up 1 2 1 2 1 2 like that, and then forward 4 1 2 3 4, 4 again 1 2 3 4, and then 3 1 2 3, and then 3 rows of 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and then up 2 1 2 like that. So that was number 1 done. And now we move on to section 2, And for section 2 we want to go up 2, 1, 2, and 2 again, 1, 2, like that, and then forward 2, 1, 2, and then forward 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2. There we go. So that was section 2 done. And now move on to number 3. And for section 3 we want forward 2, 1, 2, and then forward 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and then 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, like that. And there we are, that was section 3 done. Now move on to number 4. And for section 4 we want forward 3 rows of 3, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then forward 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, like that. And there we go, that was section 4. Now if we look at it, centre looking back, you've got a bit of a curve going on there. It doesn't look much at the moment, but when you get both sides done it will look a lot better. Anyway, now we're on to section 5. And for section 5 we want forward 2 rows of 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, and there we go, that was section 5 done. Now move on to number 6. For section 6 we want forward 3 rows of 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, like that. And there we are, that was section 6 done. Now we move on to number 7. And for number 7 we want forward 4 rows of 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 rows of 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, like that. And that was number 7. Then we've got a bit more of a fantail going on there now, which doesn't look too bad. And now we move on to number 8. Let me just adjust my notes. So for number 8 we want forward 2 rows of 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3 rows of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and then 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, like that. Marvellous. So that was that one, and now we move on to number 9. And for number 9 we want 3 rows of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4 rows of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, like that. Marvellous. Now we move on to number 10. For number 10 we want forward 4 rows of 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3 rows of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, like that. Marvellous. Now we're on to number 11. And for number 11 we want forward 5 rows of 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we want 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then up 2, 1, 2, like that, and there we go. So we've got a decent curve going on there, and I'll just look at it from the back again. And yeah, not too bad. It's actually got a proper curvy shape going on there. So that's that was section 11 done. Now we're on to number 12. And for number 12 we want forward 5 rows of 5 again. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 and 1 1 2 3 4 5. So that's 5 rows of 5 like that. And then 2 rows of 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 2 rows of 2 1 2 1 2 and then up to 1 2 like that. And there we go. That was number 12. Now we're on to number 13. And for number 13 we want forward 4 rows of 5. So 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. And then 2 rows of 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 and then 3 1 2 3 and then 2 rows of 2 1 2 1 2 and then up to 1 2 like that. And there we go. Marvellous. Now we're on to number 14. And let me just adjust my notes. Right, so for number 14 we want forward 4 rows of 5. So 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 and then 4 1 2 3 4 and then 3 1 2 3 and then 3 rows of 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 and then up to 1 2 like that. Brilliant. So that was number 14. Now we're on to number 15. And for number 15 we want forward 6. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 and then 2 rows of 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 and then 4 1 2 3 4 and then 3 1 2 3 2 rows of 2 1 2 1 2 and then up 2 1 2 and then up 3 1 2 3, making sure that's the same height as the rest. That's fine. Now move on to number 16 down here. And for number 16 we want forward 2 rows of 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 and then 2 rows of 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 and then 3 1 2 3 and then 3 rows of 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 and then up 3 1 2 3 like that, and that's fine. And then finally onto number 17 we want forward 5 1 2 3 4 5 and then 2 rows of 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 and then 2 rows of 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 3 rows of 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 and then up 3 1 2 3 and there we go. That's the last section. That's section 17 done, and it should in theory look something like that. Marvellous. So we'll look at, once again we'll look at it from the back, and you can see the half that I have done has got quite a neat curve going on there, and it blends in quite nicely with the draft on the red below. So once you do both sides, like I was explaining, then you can it will look a lot better. So there we go. So what we're going to do now is just like before, go on the inside and fill in all the gaps between each and every what's-a-doodle, and then everything will be fine. So once again I'll do the first few and then I'll do a jump cut and sort out the rest. And like I did with the red section, I'm going to fill in the side gap as well, which will be between section 17 on the back and section 17 on the front. So the big side panel will be filled in as well. But I just fill in the first few rows, and then I shall do that. Just fill in the first few finicky gaps, and everything should all work out fine. That's the theory anyway. There we go. So there's the first few filled in, and your stern should look something like that. And they don't look too bad. I missed a few blocks down here though, which doesn't help. So that one, and that one. And there we go. So there we are. That's how it should look at the moment. And there we go. So what I'm going to do now, like I say, I'll do a jump cut while I fill in the rest. And like I say, I'll also fill in the side panel as well. So the big gap between section 17 on the front and section 17 on the back will all be filled in with black. So I shall do that off camera. So I shall do a jump cut now, and I shall return in just a moment. Okay, back again. So there's the hull all filled in, and it should look something like that. So all the gaps are all filled in, and also the side panel. And it don't look too bad. It's a fairly short hull in terms of height, but there we go. That's all that done. So I've only done one side again, so I'm just going to quickly copy it over to the other side, make sure it all lines up. So just quickly go from there. We'll go copy, flip to the right, and then we paste. And there we go. That's both sides in place, hopefully. And yep, there we go. So that's the stern and side all filled in, and it's giving the stern a very bold shaped, and it don't look too bad. Yeah, marvellous. Right, so what we're going to do now is forget marvelling in our building, and what we're going to do now is start adding the deck, the main deck. So we're going to go from the back of the ship, and it's best to go from the back of the ship so you know where you are. So what we're going to do from the back, go one block down from the top, and we'll start adding the ship's main deck, and this will go all the way to the tip of the bow. So you're going to want to spend a bit of time doing this. So like I say, it's one block down from the top, so the wall, the top of the hull will act as a barrier so you don't fall off. So that's what you want to do, is add the deck from the back here all the way to the front, and that should give you a good couple of hours of work if you're doing this on your own. So I'll do the first few sections, then I'll do a quick copy, not a copy paste, but I'll do a fill tool. So there's the first few blocks or first few sections filled in. So like I say, you just want to carry this deck all the way to the front end. So I shall stand on this block here and use the fill tool to fill in the rest. So we use fill wood by 300, and that should go right to the front end. So this should take a little while. Tra la la la, dee 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 dee, la 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 la, dee 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 dee. Right, so there we go. That took a bit longer than I was expecting, but hey ho, there we go. So anyway, there's the deck all filled in, and it goes right the way to the front of the ship. And as you can see, the deck is flat and is well, you can see the top of the main part of the front of the hull is much higher than the deck. But that's how it should be, because we've got to add the forecastle now. So yeah, there's the deck all done. So what we're going to do now is go to the tip of the bow, the front of the ship, and we're going to go to the fourth block down on the from the hull. So 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks down. I'm trying to work out how to do this. We'll go 4 blocks down, and what we're going to do, yeah, go to the fourth block down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, which is this block here. And we're going to add a line of 11 wood blocks back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then underneath that we want 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then underneath that we want 19. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So there we are, 19 like that. And then at the end of the 19 we'll add a red block for the centre like that. And then we've got to build a white wall, which is the width, well, a certain width. So it's going to be 15 wide. So that is 7 each side. So 7 out each side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like that. Same the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's 4, 5, 6, 7 like that. So it's 7 wide. And then we want to build forward 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then out 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. And then do the same the other side. So it's forward 5, wouldn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then out 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there we are. That will be the end of the forecastle deck. And then what you want to do is build the white wall down to the main deck, and then just fill it all in. So this will mark the end of whatever. So that's one side done. I should do this across to the other side. Like so, and then across to the other side. Ooh, and then the out bits like so. And there we go. So there's the white walls all done. And where the white walls go out to the side, you're going to want to adjust the black now. So what you want to do is build the top black by the white walls here. Build back about 3, or is it 2? Let me just double check that actually, because I want to make sure I do this right. Because there are many times in life you do screw things up, and I've done that many times. So what we want to do, I want to build back, I think we build, is it build back level or build back, yeah, we'll build back 3, and then down 2, I think that's how we'll go. So what we'll do, we'll go from the top of the black at the end here, where it's highest by the white, we'll build back 3, 1, 2, 3, and then down 2, 1, 2, and then 2 again, 1, 2, and then 1, like that. And then fill in the gaps like so. So it should look something like that. And do the same on the other side. It's very difficult to see because of the black, but we'll go for what we can. So once again, from the end of the black top, or black highest point, go back 3, 1, 2, 3, and then down 2, 1, 2, down 2, 1, 2, and then 1, like that. And then fill in the gaps in the black hull, like so. And there we go, that's the curvy part of the forecastle done, and the raised hull. So there we go, that's that section done there. Now what we want to do now is go back to the forecastle deck, the wood parts, and just basically want to fill out each section at its right height. So build each section out to the side, and then fill in the space provided at that certain height, and everything should in theory be okay. So that's the first section there. I do one side, then I'll copy it across, but just to do section at a time. And you see, just build each section. It's basically the curve of the deck, so it curves up slightly. It's not as drastic as it could be. I mean, if the ship was slightly bigger in a different scale, then the curve would be a lot more pronounced. But the scale I build out, I think it's fine. But hey ho, there we go. That's my opinion. Tra la la la, dee 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 dee. It's really taking its time on the way, so we're nearly at the end. So that was the second section done, then down to the third section. Like so, I can use the fill tool for this one, so I shall stand on this block here, and I should just use the fill tool to fill in the rest of the wood. Like so, and there we go, there's half the forecastle filled in, and you can see the wood goes right down to the ends of the white walls there. And so that's half of it done, so I should quickly copy that to the other side. So I should copy from down here, and then copy up to the other end, flip it and paste it, and that'll be both sides done. So copy to that point there, and we'll do our copy, flip to the right, and then we paste. Like so, and there we go, there's both sides of our forecastle done. And it should look something like that. So anyway, that's the forecastle all sorted. Not brilliant, not perfect, but it will do for the moment. But we can add a few more sections. Sorry about the noise, that's my stomach growling. So let me just double check. So there are sections which are a bit awkward, so I'm just going to fly over to the prototype and make sure they are as they should be. And I think what we can do is yeah. So there are some sections where the deck is not at the right height. So what we can do is the second section down. So if we go from the front end, we've got the first section there, second section, and then the third section. We can extend that to the end of the deck where it curves down slightly. So add another 1, 2, 3 blocks there, maybe 4, and that's that bit there. Do the same on the other side. Add 4 blocks in that section. So 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So basically, so it follows the contours of the deck, and it shouldn't look too bad. That's the theory, at least. So I think that's all we can do for today. One more job we can do is to go to the stern and go back to the rudder. Because the rudder needs a couple of extra bits on top of that. La 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 dee 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 dee. So anyway, we'll go down to the rudder now, and on top of the red of the rudder we just add a row of 3 of black. So 1, 2, 3, and then 3 again. 1, 2, 3 like that, and there we go. That just makes the rudder slightly higher. And that's pretty much what I'm wanting to do for today. So that's part 2 done, and it don't look too bad. I think actually we'll do a bit more. I've got time anyway, so we're going to add a couple of sets of stairs now. So where the forecastle deck ends on the side, so whether in this corner here, this is on the left side, so in this corner here we can add a set of stairs. So what we'll do, we'll remove this block here in that section there, and then we'll get our stairs, and then we'll build the stairs going down to the deck below. So add a stairs there, stairs there, stairs there, stairs there, like that, and then put blocks underneath for support, and then the banisters 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, like that. And that's that side done. Do the same on the other side. So remove the top block in the corner there, and then build our stairs going down like so, and then the blocks underneath for support, and then the banisters 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, like that. And that's that little job done there. And then last job I think we can do is to tidy up the bow sort of figurehead. So just put a couple of blocks, one there and then one there. I think that makes it look a bit, can't really tell because of the angle, but there we go. So put a block, and maybe put a couple more blocks like that. I just want to try and smooth out the bow figurehead, if you like, because you can't really see it, but the angle and design it was at is a bit too pointy, so just add a couple of blocks to make it look a bit more sort of in place with the rest of the hull. But you know, it's one of those things. And I think we'll leave it at that. So that is part 2 done. I'm not going to do no more today. So for part 3, we'll start the ship's main superstructure, which shouldn't be too difficult. There's only 1, 2, 3, 2.5 decks to 3 decks, and it shouldn't be too bad. So that's something we'll do for part 3, and I'll try and get the white line included as well. But we'll wait and see. So yeah, that's it for part 2. So like I say, part 3 will start the superstructure, and we'll leave it at that. So yeah, that's not too bad. So this is Rich signing off, logging off and disappearing, and I shall try and return in part 3. So bye for now.